Welcome to Jobbed Out, the wrestling editorial that reminds you that Vince McMahon absolutely had to have hated this WrestleMania, and that might have made it even better. WrestleMania 36 in your house is officially done, and they tried. They really tried, and I do appreciate the hell out of the WWE for it. They, and the whole world for that matter, fell into something completely out of their control, and damned if they weren't going to try to offer some form of normalcy to the fans. Just like after Owen died, just like after 9/11, the show must go on, and the WWE wanted to be the ones to say, hey, our show's not over. So, they taped over a week and presented over 2 days. We got the most heavily edited WrestleMania ever, and it was pretty good, but it did have a lot of problems. It's hard to grade a show like this, though. A WrestleMania has to be so much bigger and better than a standard pay-per-view, and with the WWE in disarray like this, not having a live audience in weeks, likely being without a live audience for many weeks more, they had to make some concessions. I mean, they didn't get the venue they wanted, they didn't get the crowd they wanted, or the gate, or the sales, or even the time slot they wanted. Vince McMahon was trying to bring this Mania back to major pay-per-view too. Did you forget about that? Didn't happen. And while McMahon did have a heavy hand in making sure the show went the way he wanted it to, right down to making his performers stop and reshoot spots, we did get some big moments. We did get some big storyline payoffs, but it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like WrestleMania without 70,000 people losing their shit partying over an entire week. They really needed to do some things differently, and damned if they weren't up for the challenge, so props. While a lot of both nights felt empty, felt awkward, some embraced the challenge better than others. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins basically cut promos throughout their entire match, utilizing the fact that the audience can hear them instead of hiding it, and they nailed it. The Firefly Funhouse was loaded with insider references, Nikki Bella, Husky Harris. They even nodded to Jon Moxley's shoot on Vince McMahon, and you know what? It was such good shit. I guarantee you McMahon didn't like it. Of course, that Boneyard match, something worthy of being printed on a DVD and aired late night on the Sci-Fi Network, that was a thing of beauty. Even if it is modeled after the type of programming that Matt Hardy made famous, and McMahon admitted that he just didn't understand or think would work. Well, Vince, it worked. This is the only way you should feature The Undertaker from this point on. But, especially on night 2, I did see a lot of stuff I just don't agree with. The entire first half of the show, I felt like the wrong person won. Charlotte had no business beating Ripley. The Otis Ziggler match shouldn't have been done at all. With no crowd, the payoff felt really awkward. Not to mention, Otis just beat a World Heavyweight Champion. Any other scenario, Ziggler wins the match, Otis wins the girl. Wouldn't that have been more satisfying? Edge and Orton, they needed the roar of a crowd, but they did absolutely everything they could with what they had. Gronk needed to stay home. Because if there was a crowd, I feel like they would have booed the shit out of this dork. He was a goofy guy who just wasn't relatable and stole attention from the people who are the reason we came here. He would have been looked upon the same as Johnny Fairplay in 04 or The Miz in 06. Now, we did get matches we didn't need to have in the first place, like Liv Morgan versus Natalya, or Corbin versus Elias, Gulak versus Cesaro. Because let's be real here, 18 matches is too much. The card was big enough. I mean, imagine if things had gone according to plan. Those 3 matches, they would have been 2 battle royales instead, and fans would have had to sit through 7 to 8 hours in one day. I've done it. WrestleMania 33, it was awful. The fans just wanted water that the venue didn't have to sell, and to go home by the time Pitbull took the stage, because it was a long time to ask people to stay in place watching something else in an outdoor stadium. But we have to remember the alternative, and the alternative was no WrestleMania at all. Yeah, a lot of this could have waited until the summer, but we would have had just a normal Cena match, or a normal Undertaker match exposing all his weaknesses instead of the much needed and much appreciated TV movies that we actually got. Not to mention the obvious here, casuals and non-fans, if WrestleMania didn't happen, this would have just been another weekend. But to the die-hard fans, this would have been the hardest weekend of the year. With no WrestleMania, we would have been left with a daunting reminder that something that we look forward to all year something that many of us spend thousands of dollars and travel around the world for, just disappeared because of something out of our control. Putting the show together and airing it as it was 100% better than if they had just left it and canceled everything. So you know what? I'm thinking this 2-day experiment was a complete success. They learned a lesson from New Japan's attempt with Wrestle Kingdom by stacking day 2 to be stronger than day 1. They mixed the type of stuff we're used to seeing with some wicked great 15-minute vignette packages. But most importantly, we got some normalcy. Just like after Owen died, just like after 9/11, the WWE gave some effort by letting the show go on and giving us fans something to celebrate. So, hats off to them. As for grading this show, sorry, can't do it. This wasn't Wrestlemania. But it was a show with some very good moments that totally make up for those awkward and bad ones. So I guess better than most WWE Network specials? So tomorrow we start a brand new year with a brand new set of questions and expectations, and I would love it if you stick around because I'm going to address these questions that we've all got before Raw. That's another thing too, Raw After Mania, another annual tradition that we lost this year because of COVID-19. But you know what? That's a story for tomorrow. So today I want to ask you, what did you think of WrestleMania in your house? Which stood out more for you, the good or the bad? What was your match of the weekend? For me, show stealer was the Boneyard. A truly fitting representation of the Undertaker and hands down the best thing to come from a horrible situation. Remember, no COVID, no Boneyard match. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And subscribe for more takes like this one, because I want you in this conversation too. For now, though, I better get my shoulders off the mat, so thank you for tuning in to Jobbed Out. I'll catch you next time.